The official podcast begins in 3, 2, 1.
How many of you went to Italy? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I see. No, there's several people
4.
in that. You ever tried
Ian, you went to Italy. Raise your hand.
Hey, Ian. Raise your hand. There you go.
Okay, so raise your hand again. I want to count. How many people went to Italy with us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7. They're not raising their hands.
6,
7,
7,
8. Raise your hand.
8,
9.
9. Awesome. It was worth going, correct? How many of you are going to Paris and London next year with me? Low key might. Nobody's like, nope.
Yeah.
Once to Europe's enough. Okay, guys, the reason we are all here is to hear two history teachers and you guys ramble about some topics. So we need your help on this, which means think about any question at all you'd like to ask that's appropriate and ask it.
That might be a challenge right there.
Anybody? We'll repeat the question in the mic so it'll get recorded.
All right.
So you don't have to come up here. Just tell us the question and then we'll repeat it. Yes. What do we think about the removal of Confederate statues? I think we've answered this on previous podcasts, but we can recap.
Yeah, we had this out
our
one
position
day before.
The better question is, why do people protest that? That you could also attack it that way. Why do people want these Confederate statues to remain?
We could
up?
also take it from the stance of why are they there to begin with?
Or you can say, why were they built? So, what do y'all think?
Well, yeah, we throw it back to you. All right, so
Let me answer that by asking you this.
Let me just turn that around on you, shall we? The Confederate statues were built and installed in the 1950s as a reaction to the civil rights movement and some of the work that was going against trying to dismantle the Jim Crow system. If we just think about the Confederacy in and of itself, the idea that a group of people in our country is going to try to break away from our country and dissolve the Union, that's, regardless of Southern heritage sort of mentality, from a political standpoint, that's treason. And I'm not sure why we feel obligated to have monuments dedicated to treasonous people who want to tear the country apart. So let's just...
What they will say is they're not treasonous. They are carrying states' rights and what most of our founders wanted, which was to stay away from a tyrannical national government. And so John C. Calhoun and Robert E. Lee were fighting for states' rights, which, of course, we don't agree with, I don't think. But that's what they counter with, is the states' rights.
Wasn't the concept, too, I mean, no one had ever broken away from the Union. Can you dissolve the Union? I mean, you signed up, but then doesn't the federal government already have set precedents by that point that they're going to be able to maintain law and order and keep you in the Union? I mean, they have that power. I mean, Washington himself brought out troops against people, right, who were protesting.
We have this debate in class, and one of the things is a Constitution ever written to let part of that Union secede? Like, no Constitution's ever been written to say, okay, you can secede later if you want. It's a binding contract to some degree. And we always say when the South seceded for states' rights, what's to keep them from seceding from each other and not even having a country?
I mean, the Articles of Confederation were so loosely based that it was a confederation, right? That's what that, you're just sort of in it together, but you're still a loose configuration of sovereign states. Once we federalize, I think it's different then. So when you break away, that's a crime. So anyway, but back to the original point, the question of, should we remove Confederate monuments? I'm not sure that we needed them to begin with. They were sort of installed as a reminder of the racist past which led to the Civil War to begin with. So I don't know that we celebrate that idea.
So was the rebel flag created during that time. But I do say this, the people that are protesting tearing the statues down and waving the rebel flag, they say heritage, right? Not hate, which for them probably is true because they don't understand the origin of these statues and the flag to begin with.
I also think that the statues serve a historical purpose. I mean, put them in a museum, right? And some people say, well, we go to the parks to see our history. No, not really. We go to museums to see our history. When you put a statue up in a public place, it is to celebrate those people specifically and to make heroes out of them. And this is not really a heroic moment in our country's history. So, like I said, if you want to study history, go to a museum. I think that's where they belong, honestly, right? But the public space belongs to everybody. So, okay.
Now, with that line of thought, we can't take everything down just because it offends somebody.
Well,
There's
no,
a line in the sand,
that's
right?
not what I meant. I mean,
But that's not what we're advocating.
Right, yeah.
Right. You got to really ask the people that are protesting why they're so adamant about keeping them in a public park. It doesn't just offend one group. There's several groups that are offended by the statues.
there's probably a reason why there's not a statue of George Washington in London.
What's the painting of George Washington in the dome? It's him being a god.
Yeah, where was that?
Ascension of George Washington, whatever it's.
That's in the Capitol.
Yeah, the Capitol
That's
building.
in the Capitol Rotunda.
If you go to the rotunda and look up, there's a picture of George Washington in a position of divinity.
He's deified, yeah.
He's deified.
Right.
And nobody says much about that. But if you're we shouldn't think that George Washington's a god necessarily.
No, it's Reagan. So you can't replace
Reagan,
yeah.
that's right.
Don't
forgot
get,
about it.
don't get confused.
All right, what's next?
All right, next question. Carlin.
Carlin the communist. Woo!
I was trying to think outside the box. Well, in AP US history, we've been talking about scientific and educational advances that came towards the moon landing and the space race. I was wondering what sort of scientific and educational ramifications could it have if we were to go to Mars?
Yeah, that's my promotion of Mars. I do not promote going to Mars to find another place to live. Mars is not good to live because it doesn't have air and 1,000 other things. However,
Air's not overrated, by the way.
yeah, here, this is our home. We're not going to find an escape. However, I do promote going to Mars simply because you never know what will be discovered and advanced by that process.
Not just sending the robots. I want actual people walking around on that planet. That's going to be cool.
We do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
We're going to go
Who
to
said
the
that?
moon and all the places.
Kennedy, Apollo space program.
Yay.
So any huge challenge like that might be worthwhile, no matter what the goal of it is.
If maybe you think about it from a scientific standpoint, what kind of discoveries could we make? The idea that we need to try to get there faster. What kind of propulsion system could we use to launch ourselves across the universe? If we can get to Mars, then where else might we be able to go? So, that might be something. But then, one of the things that benefits our lives today is that a lot of the technologies, once they sort of became dated for the scientific community within NASA or whatever that took us to the moon, a lot of those things now filter out to the consumers. Like the cell phones that you have, the home computers that you have, the internet that we have, like all of those things have been commercialized, but they were actually tools that were used that were developed during that time, right? So maybe this filters down to us in some new cool way. Maybe we can transport ourselves to, they're working on things like, mag-lift trains and supersonic speed.
Yeah, what we need to do is give $1 billion to Elon Musk, the South African Canadian American in California, and just let him run wild. Just say, here's $1 billion, go nuts. And he'll probably come up with some cool stuff.
Yeah. Time travel.
Elon Musk? If anybody does, he will. Yes. Okay, one more time. Done with what? Oh, gun rights. Okay, so the gun issue, that's a pretty complicated issue.
Mm-hmm.
Look.
What do you think anything will change? Is that what you're asking?
I think if it's ever going to change, it could change some now because of the outcry of the
I don't
young
see some sort of
kids.
dramatic shift, though. Maybe.
I do think politicians feel pressure to do something.
Yeah, maybe
no,
the age restriction issue. I think they're really going to push hard for maybe better and stronger background checks, especially for people that may have mental health concerns or have shown. I think in one state they were talking about if you're some sort of violent offender, like you have domestic abuse charges against you or you've been convicted of domestic abuse, then maybe they'll cut back on or find some way to restrict your gun rights. And I think those are the kind of steps that we'll see, small ones. I don't think that they're going to outright ban massive amounts of weapons or anything like that. Maybe cartridge capacity, maybe, I mean, they've really been heavy on that bump stock thing, right? So
The
maybe
problem with this issue, abortion, any of this, is they're so polarizing. You can't have the conversation. So you can't even these polarizing issues, and they are polarizing for a reason. So like as far as guns, like giving up your guns is one extreme. Let's take all the guns. The other extreme is give me a tank and a nuclear weapon. I should be able to allow any weapon at all. Neither one of those is good. Okay, so there has to be a conversation somewhere in the middle. The problem is it's so polarizing, no one wants to have that conversation. Gun people feel like even if they give up a small right, and by the way, they might not be wrong, if they give up something small like AR-15s, well then where's that going to lead?
What's
it could just
next?
keep
I
up,
mean,
give up.
Yeah, that's usually part of the conversation. What if they take this, then what? If they take this, then what? Like, does that open the door, and is there an avalanche then? And, that is a cornerstone of our constitutional
But
rights.
also, we shouldn't
defend
all
ourselves.
have tanks, and we shouldn't all have missile launchers that can destroy
So
cities.
hopefully what we can find then is some sort of moderate moment where we can calm down and stop yelling at each other and come to some sort of real
There has to be a
solution that
compromise.
satisfies more people.
And I've listened to very, very smart people for hours, probably over the last several years, talk about the gun issue, and no one has a good answer. So, but they all say, all the smartest people I've ever heard talk about this, they say there's some compromise that needs to be made in the middle. Because we're not Australia. You can't take our guns. That's not who America has ever been. We were on our own. You go to Nebraska, when there's 60 miles between driveways, you need a gun. If something happens, the cops aren't going to be there anytime soon. So there's a conversation. That's what and both sides need to figure out what that is. And I'm not smart enough to know the answer.
And what happens if aliens land from outer space and Will Smith's not around to save us? Like, you got to defend, right?
That's right. Some sort of taser. Yes.
How do we feel about life beyond Earth? Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've probably talked about this too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but not. I don't think live though.
Well, the last time I heard, astronomers suggest that just within the Milky Way galaxy, there is around 20 billion planets that are similar to Earth. That's what they estimate from what the 3,000 planets that they've seen so far. However, evolutionary biologists say that the chances of life to exist in the form that we have, this higher level intelligent life, is about 1 in 20 billion. So it could go either way.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the vastness of the universe, maybe there's something. Even if it's just bacteria, I'd like to know. You know what I mean? It may not be humanoid like us or anything that we would recognize, but just something, a virus somewhere. There's bound to be something, maybe. If it's not, I'd be disappointed,
And who's to say it would be anything like us?
Right,
It might
yeah.
not be anything you can think of. It might not be that. Neil deGrasse Tyson compared it pretty cool, and I think I've told this story, I'm sure, that we share 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees, but that 1% difference makes us different. Like we're not worried about what the chimpanzees are thinking.
Yeah.
They're not gonna. So if an alien's just 1% different than us, they might look at us like, oh, they're not even.
Like we're bugs.
Right? Yeah. Who are these animals? Let's skip this planet.
I think there's
nothing
only
there.
I think there's only a 2% difference between our DNA and that of a banana. So you take away, we're almost.
My
we're almost-
toddler can do quantum mechanics. Oh, they celebrate Albert Einstein. What a joke.
I kind of hope that there's something out there because to me it just seems more impressive,
I want to believe.
I want to believe that there's something out there. I don't know. I don't even really care, like I said, what it is. But it's almost like the way
Bigfoot. I want that to be
it's like
true.
the way I feel about ghosts and spirits. I don't really believe, but I kind of hope they're there because maybe I can be one day.
It's kind of like magic. Like I wish magic was real when I was a kid.
Yeah, man.
Because we live in a non-magic world all the time.
I wanted a magic pencil. I prayed to God for a magic pencil that would help me with my homework. It never came.
I mean, that
Made me sad.
yeah.
I'm still a little sad about it.
Okay.
Magic
next.
pencils, yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is just a weird thought that I have. We are aware of things like colors because we have eyes and we have a way to perceive it. What if there is some whole other spectrum of...
There is. It's called infrared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if there's a whole other aspect to objects that we can't
You mean like another dimension?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you real quick about the color. So we have, I forgot how many, 6 receptor cones, I guess, in our eyes that pick up color. So our rainbow, when we look at a rainbow, it's so many colors, so wide. When a dog looks at a rainbow, it's half as wide. There is an animal in the ocean. I want to say that's it. I just learned this in a podcast.
Nice.
16 cones in its eye, so it sees infrared and all versions of orange and all versions. So when they look at a rainbow, it's across the sky. So definitely vision there's a lot of stuff going on right now we can't see.
Wait a minute, we're being gypped by not being able to see the whole rainbow?
Maybe.
Dude.
But to be fair, a mantis shrimp dresses like an idiot, so.
I don't know that they dress, but
Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. I remember something in science class about
you mean
rods
like
and
ghosts,
cones.
though? Things we can't see, like...
Like something that it's there.
Like I've heard of people being able to see people's electrical field, like auras and things like that. Like that would be pretty cool. Or I don't know, maybe it'd be disturbing.
This
Or
is
maybe I would
true.
just go crazy if
There
I could
are
see that
people
kind of
that
stuff
can
all the time.
see sounds, which I think is crazy. Like if I played a certain chord, oh, that's pink, or whatever. So that's, I don't even know how they relate it to. Yeah.
And it would pick up colors and transmit sound.
Oh yeah, colors of the sounds are interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Questions.
There's definitely stuff out there
All
we
right,
can
here's one,
pick
go.
up.
So there was a meeting for 18 and plus year olds for seniors.
A meeting for seniors, 18-year-olds.
They're basically wanting us to vote for like stuff on building more for.
Yeah. Okay.
The millage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys know about that.
The kids first millage.
Kids first.
But what I was told
Propaganda.
was that wind up
It's true though.
You have to label it.
parking to build more outside the library.
Okay.
Build a building.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And you've heard students complain about, there's not enough parking.
They would have to build more parking along with this. That's true. Yeah. It would have to be a thing.
Maybe they'll get
Well, yeah,
everybody
they've-
segways and y'all can
Yeah,
ride them up.
they've bought a lot more property
That
out
wouldn't
that
be
way.
good.
So I mean,
Would you guys be upset, from the students that they took away your parking?
I mean, listen, parking, you're about to go to college. Parking is always a problem in college.
Yeah.
It's parking. Yeah, so I've got.
yeah, we get there early enough. It doesn't matter. Well, but
And we
no,
have
I mean,
faculty parking. That helps.
If we're going to expand the campus, right, there's going to have to be more parking too. It's just a thing. I don't see how we can avoid it.
Yeah, and there's every school is trying to expand. It's not just Lakeside. I mean, I was part of a millage. I've been part of a millage several times at schools. So this is not like some brand new crazy thing that's happening. Most schools within 3 to 5 years will try another millage to build a gym or to build something that
Sooner
they
or later,
need.
the school's going to be so big that we're going to be right next to your house anyway. You can just walk.
I remember a couple years ago, I was talking to Mr. Hutchins, so I think this is when I was in 8th or 9th grade, and he was saying that they were going to do it that year,
Yeah.
But then, is there a reason why they prioritize other things before doing certain things? Because I know they're going to build.
Yeah, I don't go to the school board meetings, so I don't know what their
I really,
priority list happen to be.
I
but-
think a lot of our administrators, I think they do look around and do a needs assessment and try to figure out what buildings really, and they see what's coming too. They know how many kids are coming, and we've got this huge 4th grade class. It's about,
Well, it's also looking further into the future than that too. I mean, they're looking to. We are in competition with other school districts, really. I mean,
and
if it
the
comes right down
internet,
to it.
by the way, virtual schools
Yeah.
are.
I mean, what can we do to entice people to come to our school? Like that's the way we continue to offer more and more for the students, better and better programming and getting more staff on hand. I mean, the facilities matter, right? So, and you also do things that will draw more money into the district. I mean, think about the athletics facility, right? The expansion of the new field or whatever it happens to be, the new seating there in the stadium, the expanded concession stand and the bathroom stuff. Like that's to make it more convenient for people to come to things like that. Actually, it looks good and it draws people in, but it's also a convenience factor for the people that are already there. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that's part of the priority list, but ultimately you got to get the academics in, right? That's why we're there. Yeah, right. Well, we're to the point now where if we don't do something, people are going to be sitting outside in the parking lot. You're talking about parking spaces. They're going to park mobile homes out there, basically like pods, and people will be taking classes out there. I mean, other schools have done that, and we might have to if we don't pass this millage. That's what's next.
Yeah, I was
We
at a
don't
school
have any
that
more
did
room.
that. Mobile homes outside that had classrooms because the
Well, I know, but I mean, you're going to see it more widespread. It's
ALE
just
is
gonna be-
changing next year, so it's going to be different next year.
All right. Okay, go. No, that's all right.
It's about teacher strikes.
Okay. Oh, all right, yeah.
So there's been a couple,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe more than a couple.
Teacher strikes in West Virginia, in Oklahoma, and
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff
where
about
else?
teacher pay.
Somewhere else, yeah.
Do you think it's okay for a teacher to go on strike? Is that like a good example for a student to see?
Depends. Well, yeah, but it depends on why.
Yeah. So yeah, right.
Any legitimate cause, I think that you, what any kind of protest, pick a protest, strikes, marches, sit-ins. I mean, I'm for. That's why we live in America. So if you have to understand that public schools are very different, vastly different, just in Arkansas. I've taught at 4 of them, 5 of them, whatever. They're all completely different. So one public school in Virginia or whatever could have a really legitimate reason for striking when no other school in Virginia does. So, they all pay different.
And each state kind of handles it a little differently too. But if I was listening to some of the folks in the Oklahoma protest, and this is a little bit true in different parts of our state, but not statewide. But they were talking about the fact that, I mean, their pay is so low and their facilities are so weak that they need more money for just the education system itself. It's not just about teacher raises, although that's part of it, because you have teachers there who've gone through at least a 4-year program to get their professional degree and all of the other things that go along with that, having to keep that degree. And yet, as a professional, they're not paid as a professional, and they qualify for food stamps. They can't afford to put their children on their insurance. That's a problem. And, what you're going to see then if they can't do something, people are going to get out of the education field. We already have nationwide, we have a crisis not having enough teachers coming into the system to then take the place of the people that are retiring. I mean, there's a real issue there.
Teaching can be the greatest job on the planet or the worst, and it all really depends on the school and the kids.
And sometimes that's just luck, whether you get there or not. I mean, because there's such a high competition. Think about Lakeside, for example. When I applied, and I know this was the same thing when you applied, we competed against 10, 15 different people just to get the interview.
Out of
and then,
60 that applied, they narrow it down to like 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And then you have interviews with a bunch of people. He was on you're probably on
I was on your committee. Yeah, I was on.
So when I walked in, there's 10 people looking at me, who knows, assistant superintendent, principal, teacher, and so it's very, it's tough to get a job. And once you, Lakeside's awesome. It really is, as far as teaching goes. If any administrators listening to this.
Yeah. But there are also schools that struggle. I mean, we have the benefit of a fairly large and pretty well-off tax base that helps this a lot. I mean, we have a lot of aid from the community, where you don't necessarily have that with all schools. You go to the southeastern part of the state, to some of the smaller schools there, and they don't have a big tax base. There's not as many people down there, and they're not as well off, maybe. And so those schools are going to struggle comparatively to have good facilities and to have highly qualified staff on hand all the time. People may bounce out of there and go somewhere else. So
I was at a school that had a big millage push, even bigger than this. And like they hung a lot on this millage, and it failed. And that school struggled because it failed. But they were so spread out. And I just remember how big of a deal that was.
I don't know. Do you think the answer would be like just a single tax base across the state, and then share that evenly? Do you think that's a better plan, or do you just because what's going to happen is small schools may, I mean, we've seen this a little bit being merged in with other districts, right, to make a bigger sort of super district.
It's very
but all of a
communist
sudden,
of you
then you're
to say.
busing kids from different parts of the state. I remember there were kids that lived just north of Jesseville who were being bused a couple of hours all the way to Perryville, and they had to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to catch the freaking bus.
I mean, if you
that's
do
not a
that,
good
if you
plan.
just take everybody's taxes the same, no matter where you live, it's the same for every school, that's going to definitely help the poor areas of Arkansas, but it's also going to hurt the more affluent areas of Arkansas. So, I mean,
But it boils down to it's a competition.
yeah.
So
It's
right
like
now.
free market. Public education is somewhat similar to a free market, which is weird.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ian.
Besides the strike, is there anything like the teachers union can do or anything like that?
Lobby.
Yeah. They always send out emails to us and
the other
contact
thing
your congressman, stuff like that.
That we can, you can run for office yourself. I mean, we have a couple of staff members who are running for political office, right?
Yeah, I've never been a part of a school where somebody's running for Congress.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if that works and they get in the system, then they can push for legislation that helps schools in different ways because they're from the system itself. Instead of having people who don't know anything about it, I've come from the corporate world and I'm here to tell you how to run your school. Like that doesn't make sense to me any more than it would be for some guy who's an airplane pilot to go and tell somebody how to grow crops. You know, it just doesn't. I mean, yeah, you're an expert in something, but maybe not this, right? So
Yeah, it'd be crazy, like to be like on a Celebrity Apprentice, and then just think you're qualified to be president. Oh wait,
yeah, I mean that would never be wait.
I can't. Every time somebody says something like that, I can't help but think it.
Celebrity.
And you know what's funny is I don't disagree with everything.
Could that be a thing?
I really don't.
I don't know.
That could be. It's going to be interesting to see if he changed the game, though. This next election's going to see.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
That is it. Have just a reality show competition.
Oh, like
Get rid of the
Survivor?
election.
Yeah, you win.
America's next top president.
I like it. I mean, no, not really, but I mean,
That's it. The sitting president has to choose the success. You're fired. That'd be great.
what's that? What was that wrestler that had that survival show here recently? What was it? Oh God, what's that guy's name? They had like you had to. It was like hardcore survival technique. Like you had to crawl through the mud and through barbed wire and get shot at and then throw rocks at each other. I don't know what it was. But maybe should we have the strongest guy be president since we can't get the smartest apparently?
I don't know, but I saw Jimmy Carter on a talk show, and he's like 94.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "Hey, you want to run?" And he said, "I think there's an age limit." But I don't think there is. There's an age limit 35 and up, but there's no
Trump is how old?
71,
How old was Reagan?
69. He was the oldest.
Yeah, but now
I don't know. I don't think there's a
I don't know.
like a cap. You could be 95. Yeah. Let's bring Jimmy Carter
What'd
back.
you thinking about age? Did you see? This is while we were on the Italy trip. Did you see the thing between Trump and and Biden? Yeah, thank you. Can you imagine the Biden-Trump smackdown special? Like that would be like put him in an octagon.
The amount of muscle soreness cream they would have to go through after that battle.
That whole exchange just
You could hear the hips breaking as they're fighting.
they climb through the ropes. I don't know. Yeah. The crowd has to sit way back because of the smell of Bengay and vapor rub. I can't stand it. It's burning my eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smack each other with canes.
I mean, Trump has
No
a
holds barred.
professional wrestling background, so I think
Oh, he
would
does.
have,
Yeah, that's right. Off the top ropes.
I'd
Well, as a
just like to watch
promoter,
him
yeah.
climb to the top ropes. That would be 1 minute.
Give me a boost. No holds barred. Spit your teeth at him.
Throw your teeth.
In Italy, like Trump and no, what, I don't even know what the sign's called. Just
What?
Yeah,
Oh yeah. While we were in Italy, there were protests. Yeah, we got involved. I think I accidentally joined a movement in the Italian. Like, all of a sudden, I was marching and handing out leaflets. I don't know. I got recruited. I got caught up in the spirit of them. Yeah. Did you on the stage when they were protesting? Did you see that they had the sign language lady? Like she
Why
was,
did I miss
she
this
was sign
protest? Where was I?
Did you not see that?
No.
It's when it was there.
Was I part of-
everywhere? It was there.
Oh, is this Padua? Padua? Sorry.
Yeah.
Moana. I don't know. I've
Yeah,
got
it
that.
was
Padua. Make way. Make way.
Polare. Yeah.
Um,
They were it was like anti-communist, and then there was an anti-fascist, and then they were like giving each other the stink eye. I don't know.
Last time we were in London, no, 2 times ago, there was a huge protest in Trafalgar Square, and like paintball people went out that night and it was down with capitalism and all. When you go on these trips, it's different.
No.
You might
Talk
see
about
some
the
real
one
deal-
you guys. I didn't see this one, but the one at Auschwitz.
Oh yeah, where they killed a sheep and hung a sheep up on Auschwitz gate. It was to protest something.
Weren't
They
weren't
closed down.
Weren't
half.
Didn't they like strip down and smear the blood on themselves or something? Isn't that what I heard?
I think. I don't know. We didn't see it. We got there right after that,
People
and they
told me.
closed down Auschwitz 1, the smaller of the camps. We went to the big one, but yeah, they had because there was a protest where they killed a sheep and hung it. I don't even know what they were protesting. That's crazy.
Jason.
Okay. What else? Other questions?
Yep. All right, go. If we could-
2018.
If we could, hold on. If we could pick a time period to live in, and you just say now.
Oh, well, yeah.
If you couldn't
This is the
pick-
best time to ever
Well,
live.
yeah, no, I agree with that.
Maybe the 90s or the early 2000s. I mean, the way to say that is if you had to pick a time period before World War II,
Okay.
that might be a little better. But then I would, whatever the latest one is,
Do I get to choose which social
better.
class I live in? Okay. Yeah.
just think giving up air conditioning. Huh, I just don't even know.
Just plumbing, right?
First of all,
I really like.
I would want to be born and raised in that time period. Don't throw my 2018 self back so I can get eaten by a mountain lion or something. I don't know how to start fire. I don't know anything. So immediately I'm dead, or I'm going to be burned at the stake for witchcraft. Look at my jeans. They'll be like, "What is that?" And then just drag me up and hang me. So I would want to be born and raised in a different. So I would know this. I can't imagine going from this to the 1800s.
No,
Look at your pearly white teeth. Come here.
you have all your teeth. You must be a wizard. You know what frightens me more than that? The lack of vaccines in the past. Like, yeah, I mean, the idea that we would face all of these horrendous,
Yeah.
if nothing else, just the swarms of bugs.
There's probably people in this room that wouldn't be here had you lived at another time because you had an appendicitis. And there's nothing you can do about
No,
that.
you know what? That's me. I had.
There you
when I
go.
was-
He's gone. Who else?
When I was
Who
6
of the
years
week?
old, 6 years old, my appendix burst, and I would not have survived in any time other than contemporary. So
Yeah. So just that alone would weed out so many. That's our largest growing demographic is old people.
that's what I got
'Cause-
for Christmas that year: appendicitis. Thanks.
Yeah. For thousands of years, most people died in their 40s and 50s.
It
You
was
have
not-
kids, you raise them, and then you die. Grandparents were just invented not long ago. I mean, you didn't know your grandparents 200 years ago.
You could be grandparents because we all started earlier, right? I mean, by the time you're 12, you probably have a couple of
Oh,
kids.
that's true.
I mean, you got to get started. If 30 is the end date, 15's midlife, right? So you got to get going.
Good grief.
20-year-old grandparents.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you force, whatever's the latest. Like, people don't realize this, and this is why I keep saying this. Right now, statistically, globally, we have the least amount of poverty we've ever had, the least amount of violence we've ever had. It's the best time we've ever had. You don't realize it because you know about everything that happens.
Yeah,
But it's gotten better every year.
Any violent thing that goes on, we're so aware of it because the news blasts it all over the place. But it's actually globally the best time to ever have lived. And I wouldn't to go back and answer your question. I honestly wouldn't trade this for anything. I really would not. Now, is it the best time for everybody? No, because I mean but as far as opportunities go,
Would you switch places with them? Would you want to be?
really, I've thought about that too. Would I just trade out? Because I have.
I would.
I
Yeah.
have friends that say, "Well, I wish," because I'm almost 50. I have friends that go, "Man, back to the glory days." Remember you talk about? I've seen things like that. I wish I'd go back and be 18 again. Screw that, man. I would not go back. I would never go back. I love being this age. I promise you.
If
'cause
you
I
do
am-
go back, let me know how you did it. 'Cause
yeah. No, as long as I feel good, I'm just gonna keep on trucking. And
I wouldn't go
I'm not
back
gonna
if I had
lament
to
that.
give up everything I've learned since I was your age. The one thing that happens to everybody
I'm not
in here,
going
it's
back.
gonna. I said this the other day. When you're 25, you will look back at yourself right now and go, "Man, I was an idiot back then." And then when you're 35, you'll look back at your 25-year-old self and go, "Man, I was an idiot back then." It's part of growing up and learning and stuff like that.
The beauty of being me is I can look at 40-year-olds and go, "Kids, they don't know anything."
Yeah. But yeah, I'd still give it up to be because you know what they're going to get to see. I mean, none of us are going to get Social Security, so you might as well go back.
No, the only thing I'm glad you said. The only thing that I sort of lament about being this age is that, I mean, I'm going to try to live forever. That's my goal. And somebody was arguing with me.
You
one
might
day.
be the first.
Somebody said, "No, it's impossible, Mr. Franklin." I said, until I die, I'm right and you're wrong. Like, you can't prove that I'm going to die. The probability is there. I grant you that. The probability is that I'm not going to live forever. However, until I actually go away, you're wrong. It's just a thing. So, but if we take the probabilities into consideration that I might not stay here forever, I'm always sort of like, God, they're going to see things that I will never see. They're going to have technologies that I'll never have. They're going to know things that I'll never know, and that kind of pisses me off a little bit. Like, Yeah, well, I haven't actually realized
You know
it,
what's
so I'm trying
odd? As humans, we all know this. We don't dwell on it because that would be creepy and depressing. But we all know this is coming. You would think logically that every day would be, we got to live this, squeeze the juice out of life. Who cares? We shouldn't do anything we don't want to do.
You're going to waste your time
But
squeezing
we
juice?
don't. We get in these work a day. We got to get like a fact, like dehumanized. It's weird that we do that. We shut down the part of our brain that knows it's coming and just like, no, I got to go to work and I've got to.
Do you...
Like if you knew for sure you had a month left,
Well, I was
you
gonna
definitely
ask-
wouldn't go to school tomorrow. You know. So why is it when
right.
we extend that? We extend that though, and then we do. We work every day, and we keep on. We have to function, I guess. But
If you
weird.
were...
why does time?
If you were
that distance matter?
If you were a young person and they could... I mean, do you think we would live differently if we actually knew the time?
yes.
We,
If you knew, if you knew,
Yeah. Like...
what would be weird is if everybody else knew, so people knew. Like, dude, in 1 week, you saw the date for you, right? Good luck with that. You know, everybody knew. Just give you sad looks as it came closer.
Bro, have you made any lists lately?
You do know your date, man. Yeah, there was a movie about that.
I would be so bad about that. I would fret. Huh?
something like that. In time, something like that.
I don't know. Would you want to know? Would you want to know?
No, I don't want to
I
know.
don't think I want to know.
What if you knew and it was
Wrong.
20 years? Would you still go to college? Would you still try to get a job? Would you still get yourself right into the cycle of life? If it was 20 years, then that's it. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
if you knew, would
think
you
I-
do any of this?
I think I go full narcissism at that point and just go, everything's about me.
But listen, we've developed this for a reason. We've developed this for survival, that we can just push it off and get what we got to get done to survive. So we push this out of our mind that it's ever going to happen. I'm the exception. It's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
there
saying.
you go. See?
I'm just, and I'm just not like I'm afraid of dying. I just,
I am.
No, well,
Isn't that the number one fear for everybody?
I'm kind of curious about what's next.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of that, right? Like, is there really that shaft of light? Is there really a hovering moment? Is there really a transference? Or is it just like, go to sleep? I mean, what is...
There's a famous scientist whose last words as he was on his deathbed was something to the effect of, there's only one way to find out what happens next. And then he died. I want to go out, like, I want to have the good last words. I don't want to be like, you know, there was one, like, doctor. That was the famous last words. Grant was like, water. You know? But then there's great ones like George Washington's like, I hope I have done well for my country, and 'tis well.
Was
And he
it
went
John,
out like-
was it
like
John
a
Adams
man.
that said, Jefferson still lives?
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
And he
Jefferson
wasn't.
died earlier that day.
Yeah, and Jefferson's is it the 4th? That dude got sick the year before and would just hung on to the 4th. How do you just will yourself? I'm gonna make it.
That's
What a
willpower right
beast.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, there's a deist philosopher named David Hume, and his last words were, I see black light. Well, I mean, it's probably not at the exact moment, but, you know, people hanging around them wrote stuff down, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they... Uh-oh.
Oh, how about that?
What?
Instead of knowing the date, if you knew how you were gonna go.
Oh.
Car crash. Well, no, because every time you get in a car, is this it? Is this the one? No, I don't want to know either. I don't want to know how either.
I don't know.
I guess. Oh man. Yeah, I would rather know.
I don't know.
What if it was that way? This seems like a movie, and you find out it's a car wreck. So you just avoided cars your whole life. You just came, and then eventually somehow it still got you. How would that happen?
Yeah, aren't there movies like
A
that?
car
where
comes off the road and hits your
people
house.
avo-
You're just in there watching
people avoid
TV.
death and somehow it catches back up with them. There's a lot of
Da-na-na,
movies like that, right? Yeah. Final, what? Final Destination 1 through 4. Something like that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so existentialism. It's all about me. I don't
What?
know.
Oh, okay. Yep.
What? Okay, go ahead.
So how screwed do you think we all are because of like the effects that like your generation and older like generation before you have done?
Why are you blaming me for all the pollution? Huh?
Man, he just called you out, man.
Oh, really? Ah. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I mean,
Well, first of all, if you're in America, you're at a great advantage. So I mean, you're in a good position. But
like I said a while ago, air is not overrated. We want to be able to breathe air and drink clean water. So, the industrial age has made major impacts on the environment. That's true. I mean, we have to put the consumerism that you enjoy. So I'm not just going to put the blame on me and generations just a little bit. I mean,
I'll blame you too.
You guys are consumers too, right? I mean, you want the next new thing, and that has to come from somewhere. And we have to use resources, and we have to have ways to get that done. And you got to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
So maybe there's more effective ways to do that, and maybe there are ways to be cleaner in that process. And I think that's maybe where we're moving, unless Scott Pruitt stays our EPA chief.
yeah, and like as far as some things, some things have gotten worse. For instance, when I was a kid and your TV broke, you got a repairman to come fix it. Now, your TV breaks or your iPhone messes up or doesn't charge as well enough, you throw it in the ocean and you buy another one. I mean, not you throw it in the ocean. That's where it ends up, generally speaking. So it's this consumer culture we've created. So not everything's getting better, really. I don't know that your generation is going to all of a sudden make it better either. I don't know.
I hope it doesn't turn into that Wall-E scenario where it's just like a world of, dumpster world. I don't know.
I think you're eventually forced. I think that's what it's going to take is somebody forcing us to do things we don't want to do, like recycle or make it so convenient that there's no other way.
I don't think that you can force that until you have some sort of major catastrophe. And I mean, California's going to run out of water someday, right?
Yeah.
Like you can only sustain that in that region for so long, and you're piping it in from Colorado River
Yeah, it's
as
a
it
desert.
is now.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, Las Vegas shouldn't exist. Like they're having to create scenarios to make that be a thing. So I mean,
We wait around for something bad to happen.
maybe it's some sort of nuclear mishap. Maybe it's some sort of mercury poisoning is a massive problem. So
We all do this though. You don't go to the dentist till your teeth hurts. You don't go to the doctor till something's wrong. You don't worry about your grades until semester exam time, and you're like, I've got to make an A on this test or I fail. So I mean, we all do that. We wait till the last second. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Good luck.
yeah. Yep.
We've survived. Let's see if you can. Yes.
Do you guys trust us enough to run the world?
You specifically? Were you the one to ask the question?
No, I meant like if you can teach us as a group or a generation, I guess.
I think you're.
We have the responsibility to teach you. You have the responsibility to learn from us. And so, yes, exactly right. Yeah.
I do think that you guys are overall probably smarter, more informed, probably more empathetic, sympathetic. You probably have a better handle on stuff than we did.
You can multitask like crazy.
You can do that.
Only the things that you're multitasking really don't add up to much. Sorry.
My worry
I want you to do
is
more.
Is more hard work, perseverance. When things don't go your way, that it's not your intelligence or even personality. I think the worry I have is that a lot of you weren't raised. A lot of you had a lot of cushion. The helicopter parenting, and I'm not saying that's bad or good. I'm just saying sometimes it doesn't prepare you for the harsh reality of, if you're waking yourself up in the morning and going to high school and getting good grades with a lot of self-motivation, you're fine. But if you're being forced constantly, even at this age, it could be a wake-up call when you actually do have to make these decisions on your own without any external pressure.
I know a lot of teachers who take it upon themselves to try to teach students responsibility. And to a certain extent, I get that. But at the same time, my theory is that you're going to learn responsibility the hard way if you don't learn it the easy way from us now. Like if you just don't go ahead and step up to the plate and do what you need to do. I mean, someday you're going to have an electric bill that's due. Someday you're going to have a car payment that's due. Someday you're going to have to make sure that everything is lined up, and nobody's going to be there to make it better for you. You're going to learn responsibility one way or the other, whether I force you to turn things in on time or whatever happens to be my goal, right? You're going to get there, or you're going to suffer. It's just part of the process. So it's better for you to get it figured out now I can encourage you to do that, but I'm not going to try to make you, because then it just becomes I'm just somebody that you would resent, you know. Anyway,
Yes.
it's too late for you.
Yep, too late.
It's too late for you, Keyshawn. Just why are you still talking? I think a life
this
skills,
podcast is for.
a practicality class. You've talked about this before.
Yeah, it's my dream. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest class you need. Is like, okay, you're about to get into the real world. What do you need to know really about credit and debt and getting an apartment and paying your bills, and how do you even figure out what electric company you gotta, you know, I mean, there's so much stuff you might not know because your parents have kind of done it for you. So yeah, I think a practical application class, not economics, not balancing your checkbook, which I don't even do. You know, how to not get your identity stolen. What is smart and what's not smart about certain things. I think, yeah.
Well,
like
you know,
what they don't, stuff you should know.
I'll even
That's
go
what I
more
would call the
rudimentary than
class.
that. Like how to fix a faucet that leaks.
Yeah. Yeah. If your toilet is running,
Well, what do you?
can you open up the back part, the motherboard of the toilet, and figure it out? You know. Yeah. That might be.
How to clean out a
But they have
chimney
YouTube too. We didn't have.
so that you don't have.
They
a
can watch an
fire.
instructional video.
Well, say, oh, has he? Okay, well, yeah, and some kids have that. Some kids have that more than others. That's true. So if you, I mean, just little practical things like that, like the difference between, you know, screwdrivers and Allen wrenches. Whatever. Just to know how to use tools, how to be practical in your life to be more self-sufficient, rather than having to call somebody every time you turn around. You know, that's important to be able to learn how to do. Like being able. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, be able to fix something.
But remember my 3 rules for making the next 5 years as easy as possible. Keep your debt low to 0. Don't start a family until you're completely 100% ready. And try to find something that you love to do and learn how to make money at it legally.
And don't start somebody else's family.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
That's bad. It's frowned upon.
I'll get it.
Do what now? Say it again. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know.
After school, tutoring.
Well, as teachers, and he's like this too. I mean, I've been teaching for years and years and years, and I've went through a lot since I started teaching at age 20 or whatever till now. And I consistently think, what are these kids not getting at school that they really need to know? And yes, it's good to have all the classes, the history classes, math, all that's great. But when you get out into the world, there's some practical application. I just remember the first time I wanted to buy something that I couldn't afford, and I was like, I just went to can I buy this? And they went, one moment, and do you have a driver's license? I was like, yes, I do. And they called and said, sorry, you have no credit. I'm like, what's that? So I can't buy it? No, because we don't know if you'll pay it back. You know, I didn't know any of that. So I remember thinking, wow, I wish I'd have known that when I was in high school to start building up some credit somehow. That's just one thing of 1,000 that would be nice to know. So stuff you should know. That should be a senior level class because they teach you civics in 9th grade when you don't care about civics. It should be a senior level class where you actually know about voting and registering for the military and some of the major laws that, you know, if somebody pulls my car over, can the cops really search my trunk? And, you know, all that stuff that you might be, that you need to know that you don't really get taught directly. And you need to get that taught when you're 17 and 18 years old.
We could call that class Stuff You Gots to Get.
Or we could do that.
I mean, really, you need these things. That's true.
But they don't let us. Because, I mean, I even say this. Like, okay, I'm about to teach you something you're never going to need to know. Ready? Because I'm forced to. Because we focus on these tests. AP exam, ACT, it's all. And, you know, there's a lot of gaps, obviously. So
you may not remember the exact stories, but you can learn from the process, right? Watching people overcome, watching people learn to shift and challenge themselves in new ways and discover things, and what do we do with that? You know, the cause and effect aspect of it, I think, is really important for us. So
you never regret learning and knowledge, just
Yeah.
like you'll never regret getting a degree in college, unless it's psychology. No, I'm kidding. That might be fine.
Get a
you know,
master's.
so these all can be worthwhile things, but I just think sometimes school drops the ball on the practical stuff that, you know, you're about to go out there and do. You're about to figure out, should I rent an apartment? Should I buy? Well, you know, I can't buy, so, you know, it's all this stuff. Commuting, types of cars. I don't know.
Should I join a fraternity? Should I do a cake stand? What?
Should I go to a 4-year university when I don't know what to do and I'm about to have to spend $60,000, but all my friends are going? Is that a wise move? So, I promote college but I also promote 2-year colleges, any higher technical training, especially if you don't know what to do.
Tech school.
I think that's one of the biggest things, because when I was a kid, college wasn't nearly as expensive as it is now. And a lot of people feel pressured just to go straight into this
It's jacked
university
up
system
like
that
900% increase in the tuition rates since we were in school, or at least since I'm older.
So if you're going to have to take out a huge student loan, you go to college, you don't like it, you drop out, whatever.
Back in my day, college cost 2 chickens. We bartered for knowledge.
Yeah, you could start off at a big disadvantage in life, having that debt over your head.
Yeah.
I
It's
know,
hard to replace
I know
chickens.
people my age still paying back a
I know.
student.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They had 3 student loans and they're trying to merge.
If you teach at a what's called a Title I school here in Arkansas, which is an economically challenged school, and you teach there for 5 years, they will actually help you with your college loans. Like you can get a reduction in how much the amount you have to pay back, which is something that I took advantage of too. So I know a lot of people have.
Yeah, and that's something seniors should do. Look at every scholarship, apply for everything, and try to get as much money as you can, because a lot of people don't do that. And I didn't know about that when I was a kid. No, I mean much. I think I applied for 2 scholarships maybe. So
Hey,
apply for everything.
here's something completely random, but I want to throw it in here before we stopped over and did something else. I saw a news report earlier today that said that there might be Uber. You guys are familiar with Uber, right? Uber ambulances. Is that a good idea? We're getting a lot of negative feedback here. So.
Well, is it self-driving or is there a driver?
No, yeah, the driver, yeah.
Not an EMT though.
No, just a guy that can get you there.
Oh my God. Can you come get me?
Huh? Yeah. That's what it was talking about. Because an ambulance ride is expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an emergency. You got to get there quickly.
Maybe there should be levels. If it's an emergency, you get this. If you just need transportation to the hospital, you can Uber it up.
Uber it up.
Yeah. Uber ambulance. Yeah, what if they tried to talk to you like Uber drivers? Hey, so what do you do? I'm in pain.
What am I doing? I'm bleeding. That's
Get
what
me
I'm
to
doing.
the hospital, man.
Please.
Will you give me a 5-star rating? I don't have time.
As long as my pulse stays strong.
Oh, goodness. Is there anything else?
I don't know. I just thought that was weird. Any other questions? Any other topic we can throw out there? Okay, go.
How do you feel about the new bill that's going to be passed in Chicago or might be passed about how they can allow kids to graduate high school
Kid.
if they don't have a job like currently or if they're not accepted?
Wow, I haven't heard of that.
All right, repeat that again, because how do we feel about...
There's a
do you
bill
know
going-
do you know which state? So Illinois. A bill in Illinois that won't allow students to graduate high school unless they have
A job?
a job currently, or they're accepted into college. Interesting. What are you going to do? I mean, you're just going to keep them there till they're 30?
What if they work for their parents? Would that be... They
Yeah,
just
does
have
that
to
count? I don't know. Oh, where'd you see that story?
I was talking to a friend and she told me about it. She
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know.
I don't like it.
No, I think you need to get out and go do things. I don't think we need to capture you and keep you in school till you're, 21, 22 just because you don't have a job. I mean, sometimes in an economically repressed area, you might not be able to find a job.
Yeah, there you go.
So then what? I can't flip burgers because all the machines are being... Have you seen that? Like new machines that are going to burger flip for us now?
Oh, yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
I've been warning the kids.
The hash slinging slasher.
Yeah, just think when my kids get old enough, they're like 9, 10, 7, all that.
What kind of jobs they going to get?
I don't know. What would they do?
That's another reason. That's
in
another
10
reason not to
years-
go back to being now, because I have a job. Well, hey, that's a good question. What was your first job? I mean,
Farmer?
aside from the farming.
Teaching.
That was your first
That
thing?
was it. I've
went
never
from
had a
farming
real.
to
I
teaching.
went from farming to teaching. I farmed until I was 20, and then I started teaching. I farmed. I came home and on the weekends did hay during the summer.
My very first, honest to God, get a paycheck kind of job was when I was 16, and I built portable houses, like sheds.
Ugh.
Yeah, in the summertime, and it was hot and it was nasty, and I got, sheet metal cuts and fiberglass in my eyes, and I swore to God that I was going to really do well in school to get away from that kind of business, because that sucked. But yeah, I did that for a full summer.
Yeah, I mean, farming, the thing about farming, my first job is there's no days off. So my dad went 13 years without a single day off. I remember, we got up on Christmas, and instead of opening presents, we went to the barn and milked cows, and then we got home at 9:30. Then we could do our presents. I mean, so there's no, and that's what got me through college. I was like, if I quit, I might end up on that literally stinking farm, surrounded by cows.
So,
I mean, yeah, I go to my parents' house, which the barn and all that's kind of gone. There's still the feed silo. My dad still has a few hundred beef cows now, so he still does hay. He's the hardest working person I've ever met, and I'm the laziest person I know. So that wasn't a good. I'm not going to fill his shoes.
was there a moment in time where you realized, sitting there milking a cow, you're like, screw this? I mean,
I was 8. The first time I remember the first time I put a milker on, I was 8. I could barely reach because before that, I was just in charge of feeding calves and herding the cows up to the barn. But then he's like, well, you're big, because I was like 7 foot tall when I was 8. So I matured early. But 8 years old when I put my first milker on, and I didn't like it then.
I'm proud
I
to
wouldn't
say
like
that
it now.
I'm proud to say that I have never put a milker on anything.
The stories I could
anything
tell
or
you.
anyone.
Yeah, just pulling a calf out of a calf. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
All the great stuff. I grew up fast.
Job through college. I actually worked in grocery stores, stocking shelves and bagging groceries and hauling them out for people. That was my go through college job.
What else? Anything else y'all want
What's
to
on
talk
your
about?
Huh? Okay. The net neutrality thing. Yeah. We've already kind of done that.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know when that's going to drop.
There's several states' attorneys general are suing over that whole thing, so we'll see where it goes. I don't know. Like, the story's not quite over yet, and I mean,
It's funny though. I have students who can't get a signal or something. They go, "Is this it? Is this what it does?" I don't know. I don't know what it does.
Damn you, net neutrality, going away. Can't get a signal. You have that too. My room's a bunker at school. Like, people can't get a signal in my room at all. Kids will huddle in my doorway to get a signal. Huh? Yeah. Oh, mine's okay? His is worse than mine? Oh, well, all right. Yeah, maybe it's just, I don't know.
Goes in waves. All right.
Is it? Okay.
Mine goes in waves, man.
Goes in waves.
He goes in waves, man.
Bro, tasty waves. Yeah. So awesome.
I got it, man. It's working.
All
right.
Think about how weird that is. If you think about the aliens coming down and observing us. We talked about maybe aliens earlier. What if they came down and watched us? They probably look around at us and we're like holding things like this and arms up in the air and staring like, what are they doing? How bizarre.
Yeah, I used to think if they didn't know anything about us and they came to us to our houses, they would think we worshipped our TV because all the furniture is pointed where you can every seat you can see the TV. It's like, what is this magical box they worship?
Yeah.
And now I don't know if it's remember the weird seat. My grandmother always had a weird seat that was not facing the TV and no one ever sat in it. It was just a weird, uncomfortable chair beside the TV.
The timeout chair, is that what that was?
Yeah, I guess so. Nobody ever said it.
I saw something weird, and I'm sure it's still out there. Some artists took like pictures of people in public, and they all had their phones and whatnot, but they went back and just erased the phone part, so it looks like people are just staring at their hands for no reason. And it was the most bizarre looking thing.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, or your watch now, yeah.
Oh, humans are the root of climate change. Okay, I think the climate changes without humans or with humans, but do we make it worse? Science seems to think so. If you look at the science, I'm not a climatologist, so I cannot speak intelligently, other than it seems that the scientific consensus says so.
I mean, huh?
Well, the problem is that when people say we just need to cut out carbon emissions, I mean, that's suicide. That's going to kill millions. So there's got to be
as an individual person on the planet, there's not probably a whole lot you can do. I mean, you can try to be responsible and try to recycle as best you can, but until we curb industrial pollution, there's not a whole lot going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to be a thing. Yeah, and the planet's gotten continually warmer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to make an effort, but we can't wholesale make big changes because there's people that depend on, and, coal creates a lot of our electricity, and not just in America. There's, more importantly, would be other third world, second world countries that without our industry, they don't live.
Yeah.
Not to say that we couldn't do better.
Have you thought about, because we were in Italy, I saw several cars, they had these electric cars, you plug them up, charge them. Oh, electric cars are going to save the world. Well, most electricity comes from coal-fired plants, and so we have to pollute more to create the energy to plug in the cars, so you're not really doing much, it's not much better than fossil fuel engine. Huh? Do they? Oh, I don't know, I don't have one. So. Oh, okay. Then you have to start pedaling? Is that what? Fred Flintstone. Politicians are the cause of global warming. Is that what you're saying? Just the hot air that just spews from their lips. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer to this. It would take a big coalition of countries and they did, the Paris Agreement. It seems like a lot of corporations are still trying to meet their mark.
I think I'm less worried about global warming ultimately than the effect it's going to have on animals that we eat. Right? Fish dying in the oceans, the inability to grow crops in places that we used to grow crops well.
Yeah, the flooding is going to be...
Stuff like it's going to be a problem, right?
If the ocean keeps rising, which it technically, I guess, is, most people live on the coast. I mean, that's going to cause a problem eventually.
Yeah.
You could, at least for a little bit, until it goes under.
Get a house up on a cliff.
That'd be better than Venice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, look, there's going to always be problems with, I think the more communication, the better. I understand that there's a lot of fake news and fake communication, but I still think that is better than no communication or being isolated. I think the TV changed everything. I mean, we saw the Vietnam War. We saw the protesting in the civil rights movement. I mean, that's knowing, nothing can replace knowledge. So even though it comes with a lot of problems, having you're going to have to figure out, how do I get good news, and how do I think that's still good. I mean, it's more communication is never bad, I don't think. But there are problems that come along with it.
Should there be a death penalty punishment for producing fake news?
Death penalty? Good grief.
I'm just trying to go real dark all of a sudden. I don't know why. No, well, I mean, I'm being facetious, but at the same time, it is a problem, right?
Like strict, like for creating, if you for sure created something to represent data incorrectly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I don't know.
I mean,
where does the freedom of speech
sure.
and press and all that lie?
Yeah. But it's also not your right to be able to harm other people with things that you're doing if you're purposefully trying to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So that's. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something about that. I'm not advocating death penalty.
I'd have to think that through.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Anything else? Yes.
So prom is a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe prom's a little overhyped.
Prom. The promenade.
I don't know what prom is like anymore. Do y'all just go out and eat and then hang out? I mean, is there?
Is there? I mean, I haven't even chaperoned prom in forever. So, is it? A long time ago, yeah.
I've played at proms
nobody's doing
before.
something stupid, but
I mean, I get what happens. I was such a different kid, though, and I also feared my parents so much. The fear. I don't know if y'all have the fear like I had. So I
because-
was a good kid.
Because of the milking machines? Or?
Yes. Yeah. I'd have to live out there with the cows. I mean, prom, I guess it's been around forever. I know it's something people look forward to. It's
Antiquated. I mean...
Yeah, usually it's disappointing. I mean, for most students, they're like,
How
how
expensive are dresses now? Just curious. 400, 200. Yeah. My dress was really cheap, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I rented a few tuxes in my day, so. Yeah. Well, good luck out there.
Yeah, be safe.
Yeah. I'm playing at Project Prom, which I don't know where prom is. Oh, okay. Well, that'd be fine.
Yeah. Crash the prom crashers.
I just know we don't start playing until like midnight. And and it's in the gym, so the sound is just going to be. That's all it's going to. No, I think we're playing from 12 to 2, something like that. I mean, which I've played. I mean, that's normal, but it's not normal. We're going to be setting up at 11. I've never set up for a gig that late, but it's for the students.
Yeah, it's all for you. Isn't that what we're really here for anyway? Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Yes, it's what it is. I mean, I'm glad I'm getting paid to do it, but no, we don't get paid for this. No.
No, but Lakeside does sponsor our SoundCloud page,
Yeah,
which
so
is
that
where we
helps.
upload
Yeah. So we're proud
all
of that.
this. So that's the only way. But yeah,
If you're a teacher and you're not doing it because you're trying to help kids, like you're just in it for the wrong reasons. So this is what this is really about. I mean, that's why would we could sit, just ourselves and BS back
all
and
those
forth about things.
podcasts
We
I
want you guys
upload
to
y'all
be
for
here
the
and interact with us.
chapters.
That's
You know
important.
how fun that is for me. I do it for the kids.
We're
The one out of 37, and I did 36 in a row. No credit. I missed one chapter.
It also helps that we're slightly egotistical and we just like to hear ourselves talk. Oh. Bonus points for you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to start doing the podcast like Barry White. All right, y'all. Chapter 37.
No.
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
I decided I'm gonna start doing mine instead of saying today's lesson or whatever. I was like, on today's episode.
Yeah.
If you'll remember yesterday's. No, I don't know.
Maybe
The
we could
cast
just
of
do
care-
record the whole year and then just go into our classrooms and just push play. And just, listen to the podcast. I did this last year. That's what I should do. We should record ourselves 1 year teaching everything, the PowerPoint, and then just play it. Play it back each year. And then I'll just supervise. We're going to have to answer questions and stuff, though. Give you 5 minutes.
You guys over in the corner have questions? Because you've been interacting, but I haven't heard. You have anything that you want us to talk about? Anything controversial? We love controversy. No? Come on now. Okay.
They have all the answers.
You have all the answers already. You don't need us. Okay.
We got about 10 minutes
Okay.
left. 10 minutes.
Okay. What? Ice cream.
Milk and cookies.
Cereal first, always. No. That's like saying you put your socks or shoes on first. I mean, that's stupid.
Or huh?
Huh? No, if you... What? One sock on, one shoe on, one sock on, one shoe on? Well, you're just an idiot. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
But I mean, you got to get cookie in there too.
Both
You don't
socks,
just
then
socks.
shoes. That's the way I do it. Because I'm not planning on running away or hopping away, as the case may be. With
Why don't you just get a normal one and scrape some of the
all right,
icing off? Well, that's gross.
Oh.
Okay.
I've always been partial to
This
the Rolling
probably is
Stones.
not recording well. We're both talking.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Coke.
All right. She said Beatles or Rolling Stones. Who's better?
I'm a Beatles.
I'm a Stones guy.
We'll shake it up, baby. Now shake it up, baby. Twist and shout. Yeah, Rolling Stones, though, you got to give it to that dude's still up there. He's like 90.
I saw Rolling Stones play live at War Memorial Stadium in 1994, and Mick Jagger was ancient then. He's even much more ancient now, and dude still kicks it.
Dude is
boy.
still going.
Yeah, like, huh? Paul McCartney, yeah, that's true. Oh,
I want to
hand
get
up
into
it.
that shape.
All right, you got one controversy. Hit me. Tyson wants to know what? Okay. Oh, the multiple executions we did. Yeah, it was like kill two get one free kind of thing, right? It was sort of a 2 for 1. I don't know, 1 for 3. I don't know. Well, yeah, what do you think about it?
What is it? I don't remember what
Okay,
you're
no, we were running out of time on the juice, the execution juice. I don't know what to call it. And so they were like, okay, quick, and they executed dudes. Like the governor just decided. Remember? Like,
just to knock them out?
yeah, like quickly, just clear out some space on death row. Huh? Yeah, right. Well, right. He meant it was kind of at the beginning of the school year, I guess. So something like it was recent. Yeah. So what do we think about that? I think if you've exhausted all appeals, and the state has, given you a death penalty, I mean, we probably need to carry that out. That's kind of the way I see that, especially with some particularly heinous crimes that may have put you on death row to begin with. But at the same time, I don't want to rush into that. I mean, some people complain that people are like, "This guy's been on death row for 25 years." Yeah, okay, that's fine, right? If I'm the guy on death row for 25 years, like, I make sure that you've got that right. If we're going to execute people, make sure that you're sure, because there are mistakes that are made in jurisprudence, and you don't want to be guilty of, taking people out of the system. I mean, mass incarceration is a problem in the country. I get that, and it's expensive to house prisoners. But at the same time, it's still someone's life, and you need to make sure, right? So, I mean, and we could have just debate about, capital punishment in general, I suppose. But I don't want to bring us down.
I don't want to bring us down, man.
Huh? Caramel. Pecan. I have relatives who say pecan. I have relatives who say wash. Can't hear you. Toffee. Yeah. Oh, now it's all about
What?
linguistics.
Soda or pop
What's your-
soda? Caribbean or Caribbean?
What? Do we want to dig into that? Why don't we save that one for next time? I think we're running out of time. But remind me, though.
We
that's
got
a good
about 5 minutes.
All right.
Pie or cake?
Ice cream.
Pie.
Ice
No,
cream with-
cake with ice cream. Or no,
ice cream
brownies.
with everything. Yeah.
Brownies with ice cream.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it right.